The first bullet didn't hit anyone, but it silenced the mountain. Contact. We're surrounded, someone screamed, and the words bounced wildly off the rocks as if the terrain itself were panicking. Lieutenant Aaron Hale felt his chest tighten as he pressed his back into the shale wall. Dust trickled down his collar. Above them, the ridgeline glowed faintly under a dying moon. Below, the valley was a black mouth swallowing sound. Every instinct he had told him the same thing his radio was now confirming: multiple heat signatures, high ground lost, exit routes cut. A perfect ambush, and then the shot came. One single, impossible shot, from the mountain no one was watching. It was supposed to be a routine extraction. The SEAL team had been on the ground for 72 hours, tracking a warlord who used villages as shields and mountains as armor. Intelligence said he'd move at dawn. Hale had pushed for an early exfil, but command wanted confirmation. So they waited. And waiting, in hostile mountains, was how men died. When the first tracer tore through the darkness, the night exploded. Automatic fire ripped from above and behind. Rocks shattered. Someone yelled as a round clipped their pack. Hale hit the ground and crawled, dragging himself behind a boulder as bullets chewed into the earth inches from his face. Echo team, fall back. Hale shouted into the mic. Find cover. Cover where? Chief Morales yelled back. They've got the high ground everywhere. Hale risked a glance. Red dots flickered on the ridgeline like angry stars. The enemy had moved faster than expected, circling them while they slept. The mountains had betrayed them. Then came the panic, the kind that crept in quietly before it roared. Sir, Petty Officer Lane said, voice shaking despite his effort to control it, we're pinned. Ammo's bleeding fast. Another explosion rocked the slope. Hale tasted blood where he'd bitten his lip. He forced himself to breathe. Leaders didn't panic. Leaders absorbed it, then burned it away. Hold, Hale said. We hold. But inside, a colder thought whispered, we're not getting out. That was when the second shot came. It wasn't loud. It didn't announce itself with chaos. It was clean. Final. One of the red dots vanished. Then another. What the hell? Morales muttered. Hale looked up again. The ridgeline was still alive with fire, but something had changed. The enemy's rhythm faltered. Shouts echoed. Confused, sharp, afraid. Then a third shot. A heavy weapon emplacement went silent, its muzzle flash dying mid-burst. Sniper. Lane whispered. Hale frowned. We didn't deploy one. Another shot. Another enemy dropped. The fire slackened. High above them, beyond the ridgeline everyone had been watching, there was a darker rise, steeper, colder, dismissed by maps as impassable. No heat signatures. No movement. No reason to look there. Except someone had. The team didn't know her name yet. They didn't know her story. All they knew was that death was suddenly arriving with precision, and it was on their side. Up on the mountain, Captain Mira Voss exhaled slowly, her breath frosting the scope for a split second before vanishing into the wind. 800 meters. Thin air. Crosswind from the east. Elevation correction already dialed in. She ignored the ache in her shoulder and the burn in her lungs. Pain was background noise. Focus was everything. She had been tracking the SEAL team for 2 days, not as prey, but as protection. Command hadn't trusted the intel either. They'd sent her alone, off the books, to watch the mountain no one thought mattered. Guardian Overwatch in position, she'd whispered into a dead channel no one was listening to. Now, they were listening, whether they knew it or not. Mira adjusted her aim. Another hostile leaned out, from behind cover, yelling orders, confident in his advantage. Confidence was loud, her trigger pull wasn't. Down below, Hale felt something unfamiliar bloom in his chest. Hope, sir, Morales said, disbelief creeping into his voice, they're pulling back. Sure enough, enemy fire thinned. Shouts turned frantic. A flare went up, then another, signals of confusion, not control. Push left, Hale ordered. Slow, stay tight. They moved like ghosts, covering each other, the mountain suddenly quieter with every measured step. Every time the enemy tried to regroup, another shot came from nowhere, dismantling their effort before it began. It felt unreal, like the mountain itself had chosen a side. By the time dawn crept over the peaks, the ambush was over. Bodies lay scattered on the ridgeline. Survivors fled into the valleys. The SEALs stood breathing hard, stunned, alive. Hale keyed his radio. Unknown sniper, he said carefully, if you can hear this, thank you. There was a pause. Static whispered. Then a calm, steady voice answered. Exfil route is clear, she said. You've got 10 minutes before the wind shifts. Hale closed his eyes for half a second, letting the tension finally drain. Copy that, you saved our lives. Another pause. Just doing my job, she replied. They met her hours later at a narrow pass where the mountain finally released its grip. She stood alone, rifle slung, face dusted with frost and exhaustion. Smaller than he'd imagined, quieter, eyes sharp, carrying a weight Hale recognized, the weight of someone who'd seen too much and spoken too little about it. Captain Mira Voss, why weren't we told about you? Morales asked, half joking, half serious. Mira shrugged, didn't need to know. You needed to survive. Hale studied her, then extended his hand. You didn't just give us a chance. You gave us a future. She shook his hand firmly. Mountains don't care who you are, she said. They only respect preparation. As the helicopters lifted them away, Hale looked back at the peaks, silent again, indifferent as ever. He understood something then that he would carry for the rest of his career. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a single, unseen decision to climb higher, wait longer, and act when everyone else believes hope is gone. Sometimes, when you think you're surrounded, help is already watching from the mountain.